Well, good morning, Team Zambia. It's an exciting, crisp, cool morning here at the church, and there is a lot of activity. Let's go take a look. There's the team. Well, we're on the plane getting ready to go. Pray for us as we head off to Zambia and start our journey. We're all very excited and ready for this to get started. We look forward to seeing you all soon and sharing many stories.
This is Kangwena Center. Here we have about 350 children who are on the program, and they all go to school. We have 4 implementers because our catchment area is big. We have 2 gentlemen, these 2 gentlemen, and then we have 2 ladies. This man has been on the program from inception. When we just started Faiths Orphanage, we've been with him. And this lady also, she's been with us for more than 20 years. And we are very proud because of their influence here. We have now this big area. It's about 60 hectares, which has been given to us by the chief here. And we've started developing it slowly, because we let the community do what they think they want to do. So through the community, with the help that we've received in the past, we've built some houses. We have 2 big houses, and then we have a house where we want to be keeping chickens. So we are very excited because now the people are catching up with the vision, and they are able to do things on their own. This is the center. When our children graduate from the skills training center, they will come and stay here for 1 year and put all the skills that they've learned into practice.
How many orphans are there that she cares for about?
Can I give the real number? Here,
Sherry?
Well, she likes to say 3,900, so almost 4,000.
Okay.
But she said that actually the number is probably closer to 5,000 if she were to
Yes.
really count them all. But she's such a humble woman. She goes with the lower number, but she says it's probably closer to 5,000.
So now one person can't possibly care for 5,000 children. So how does she organize it to make sure that's being done, Sherry?
She has over 100 implementers. So these are people who volunteer their time. They work in the villages, and they deal with the orphans sort of one-on-one. So they're Faith's hands and feet in the villages themselves. But one of the things that I just impressed me so much about Faith as well is she is a visionary. She is thinking about the future. So as she's looking after these orphans today, she is thinking about what their future would be like and what Faiths Orphan Fund can do in the future to be self-supporting. So when we visited the farm, we got to see her plans for raising the money that she needs right there in Zambia, which is a beautiful thing, That's a sustainable ministry.
What was either your favorite time or what was the highlight in this trip for you?
In the villages?
Yes.
I think I still remember the first time we drove up to the first village, and we weren't totally sure how we were going to be received. And just as we were driving up, we were singing, and we thought we were singing pretty loud.
Yeah.
And we were just drowned out by the singing of the children. And there was this huge crowd of children as we came in, and they were completely drowning us out with their singing. And it was just it was the sense of acknowledging God's call. I think we'd all been dreaming of that moment almost, and certainly it was acknowledging, God, you've called us here, and you're seeing these kids that are running around with you don't normally see. It sounds horrible saying that, but they're covered in dirt. You can tell they haven't bathed in forever, and it's not because they're not cleanly. They play hard, and that's where they live, and they don't have those facilities. They're in clothing that's worn and tattered, and that's all they have, and they're in shoes that barely have a sole left. Yet they're standing there smiling and singing, and are so joyful to see you. And I think that first village still kind of rings in my head, just kind of crawling out of the bus and taking it all in.
Beth, what goes through your mind?
Like Alexis, the joy that those kids had, and they could sing, they could worship the Lord, and yet they had so little. And the implementers themselves, as Sherry was saying, their face, hands, and feet, they're out there caring for them, but they live there. They have so little. We had a chance to go to some of their homes, and Abe, one of the implementers who's been with Faith the longest, does not have a roof on his house. And he has his sons and grandkids and everything. And here's someone who serves Faith faithfully for all these years, right from the beginning of the ministry, and he himself doesn't even have a roof on his house.
So it kind of begs the question, what is wealth and what is poverty?
Okay. What he loves most is life. He mentioned the word muewo. That's, for him, he gets excited with that.
Oh.
Yeah. As long as he's living, he's happy. Now, the other thing is, what upsets you most, or what is the challenge? Yeah, I think so. What is the biggest problem that you see? Chimofe problem.
Something to eat.
Oh, he worries about food. When there's no food, he's worried.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
And that's a challenge. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning, Team Zambia. Welcome to another beautiful day in Kitwe. We just had devotions over there in the hall with the students, and now we've all put on our working gear and we're ready to build the walls to this building. We brought all the bricks over by a kind of chain gang yesterday, and now we're mixing the cement and we're going to start actually putting mortar down and putting the walls up. So come along with us.
Maybe Sherry, could you explain to us what was that structure? Like, what's the purpose of it? And how is it going to bring glory to God down through the years?
Well, I hope it brings God great glory, great glory. But it's a multi-purpose building that's basically one big, huge room. And Faith was planning to use it for things like when the implementers come to be trained. So twice a year, all the implementers come to the Skills Training Center where she can just pour into their lives, equip them and train them, and then send them back out into the field. And until now, there was no place for them to meet because the rest of the buildings are kind of small. So they would be, the rains would come and they'd be in the rains, and there was really no place for them to sleep. And so just her facilities to accommodate them were quite crude. And so this building will give them the opportunity to all be in the same building. She talks about having them actually sleep on the floor in the building, things like that. It's also a place where she can welcome in guests and those sort of things. She's talked even about possibly using the building as a way to help supplement her income, like just to raise money to continue to help support the orphans by renting out the building. Again, it goes back to how she's, a visionary on so many levels. But I think really only God knows what he wants to use this building for. He called us to build it. So therefore, he's got a plan for it. And I think we're all excited to see what it will be as the years unfold and as we continue to support Faith and partner with her in her ministry.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer.
Brave Zambians at the front throwing them.
Rising gently and gently.
And then we reach the Canadians.
Check out these guys working hard.
I have been learning how to build walls and put mortar in and fill the stones with rock.
There we go.
We are mixing sand, stones, then we put cement. Then we're mixing. After mixing, then we put inside here. Then we open it. The block comes out.
Awesome.
Yes.
Can you see the mold here?
Yeah. Mold here. When we put like this.
There it is.
Yeah. Then we do like this. That's how.
Ta-da!
Well, we are just starting the next couple of layers of bricks, and I'm on Endaka duty. So we're putting down the mortar and filling in in between all the bricks.
What are you doing over there?
Oh, we're leveling.
It's Tim's special.
We're trying to make the wall straight and true. We got our string level.
Into like 20s there. Yeah. I can see all of Africa from here.
All right, I heard them calling you a certain name, Tim. What was that? It wasn't Tim.
Yeah, some of our friends at the student center called me Brother Tomba.
Tomba.
Yeah.
Tomba. Do you know why? What does that mean?
It means blessing.
Blessing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not what Timothy means, though.
No, it's not.
Okay. So you were a blessing to them.
I guess so.
Before they even met you. Anybody else have a name that you picked up over there?
Oh, yes. Dave.
Yes. Dave?
They called me Ndaka Dave.
Ndaka Dave.
Ndaka Dave, because I would mix the mortar that they called Ndaka, and I liked to do it, so they called me Ndaka Dave.
Well, what is Ndaka?
Ndaka is actually water and sand and cement mix that you have to manually mix over and over and over again, and then it went in between all the bricks.
Oh, okay, so I was thinking it was something you eat.
Oh, no.
It's not. Yeah, so.
You won't last long eating Ndaka.
So Wes, tell us what just happened.
We just put up the last block and filled in the mortar for the last block on the south wall, and that's our goal for our trip. So
what's your response, Wes?
Yoo-hoo!
So Faith, as we've reached our last day,
Yes.
tell us about the building.
This is prayer answered to us. For many, many years, we've prayed for a bigger building because the number of volunteers and students, it's increasing, and we've been praying to God, trusting Him that one day we'll have a bigger building. And we thank God that through the Campus Crusade Church, the Lord has been faithful. He brought out 20 volunteers out of the many that have been praying for us. And here we are today rejoicing in what the Lord has done through them and through us together. We are able to put up this big building, which is going to host more than 300 of our volunteers together with the people that come to work with us. It's really a prayer answered. I don't know how I can express myself, but thank you, thank you, thank you, and may God bless each one of you for this wonderful work that is going to live the test of time.
Mama yo yo,
I received a deep love of the Zambian people themselves. They are the most amazing hosts you could ever imagine. They give and they give and they give. Just that their quiet demeanor, their respectfulness, their quietness, and just wanting to serve you, and wanting to get to know you, and just their overall demeanor was beautiful. They're beautiful people.
Yes.
They really are.
What particular challenges did you face in building? I mean, you're working long hours under the heat, physical challenges, emotional challenges, heat challenge. You retired. What challenges did you personally feel during those days? Maureen?
Well, it's funny because I kind of thought we would be physically challenged, and it was. We worked very, very hard all day. But there's something about being in an environment where there's a lot of things a lot worse around you.
Yes.
That the fact that we had to work really hard for a long day and that we were hot and didn't have as much water as we normally do, kind of became insignificant.
Yeah. Under the circumstances, how do I complain here?
Exactly.
Yes.
And just we almost got more motivation by the longer we could work because we could see walls going up in front of us, and it became almost like a motivate, like when the next level of brick went up, it was like everyone was all excited.
So physical fatigue is countered by emotional inspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. I just thought I would feel worse, but it's funny. We slept well at night.
I bet you did. Yeah. What is missions? What fresh insight would you have, David, to share with us as the church?
It's the ability to put your hands and your feet to all that knowledge that you've possessed for all those years about missions but had never gone to it. And if you go to it, you just understand it so much more. And the need to want to do it more.
Yes.
It's really God's calling on your life and why we're here. And that was just made very clear by going on this trip.
Yes. Anyone else? Good insight. Anastasia?
The goer and sender, what we always talk about before we actually went on our mission trip, it really opened personally my eyes. I mean, waking up every morning and getting the comments from people back home was just such an encouragement. I mean, we were so tired, so sometimes physically weak, but just hearing that encouragement, it really lifted us up as a team. Just to hear that back home everyone was praying for us, it was amazing, the difference and even the attitude of like our team and how it changed us. So it definitely opened my eyes on how much encouragement that these missionaries need. And I mean, we're all called. I mean, outside our door it said we're entering the mission field, whether it was in Zambia where we were or outside our door.
I think that was one of my, every moment over there was a favorite moment, but just at the end of the day we'd had our debrief. We were just sat quietly and getting ready for bed, and Sherry just handing out those letters and just hearing people's encouragement from back home. It was incredible to get. It was uplifting. It did help. So our missionaries need to hear from us more. Like, write to them all the time, if you can, if they can receive letters, because it's really important, and it's just so it just keeps you filled up and ready for the next day.
Thank you for that reminder, Alexis.
I just wanted to add that the prayers were felt as well. I think we all shared a sense that we were protected, and that things went logistically extremely well. When you consider all that could have gone wrong and all everything that did go right, I think that those prayers were greatly needed. They came through, and we were just shielded from all sorts of things.
Yes. Thank you. What about that prevalent Western idea that over there they have nothing and we have everything, and so our job is to take our everything to their nothing and fill up their spiritual tank? It's a prevalent idea. What would you say to that? Alexis?
Yeah, I would say no, because all the busyness and the things that we have and the things that we covet encumber us. They weigh us down. They truly, truly do. Trying to maintain the lifestyle, I'm not saying material possessions are bad, but if we're constantly striving for those kind of things without filling up with the Word of God or looking beyond our own, we're so self-focused here and self-centered, and there they're not. So to fill their lives up with things that we think make us happy would be a tragedy. So I'd say no.
So in other words, it's a mutual blessing. We're all on equal grounds. There's givers and receivers, and the givers are the receivers, and the receivers are the givers. And we're just all doing God's kingdom in different ways. I believe that. Name one person that really impacted you. I know, Beth, you were going to bring somebody home.
There was a number of students there that just grabbed our hearts in such a deep way. It's amazing how in such a short time you can become so attached and so connected. And the one night we were doing our team debrief and Cornelius came to the door, knock, knock, is Mama here? And everyone's like, oh, Beth, he's looking for you. And he wrapped our heart. And he was just a phenomenal boy.
Hello, friends in Canada. Good morning. This is Cornelius Kasari, the chosen one. Wow. I'm proud of saying morning to you.
Thank you.
There's a couple guys there I know was on Keith's heart to go into pastoral ministry. Even though they've come from, we got to see where they came from in the villages, but I mean, these men have so much to give. They really do. Yes. And these women are phenomenal women. They are strong women. Yes. And we learned about community. These women, they sat together and they did laundry together, they cooked together. They had so much fellowship and fun. And I know a bunch of us had spoke how it just really spoke to our hearts the importance of living in community with other people, and how in Canada we're so isolated. And yet they have so little, but they have so much joy, they have so much love, they have so much community. Very much in community.
When we were looking at the videos and pictures, I saw Alexis with a number of children around all the time. I said to Diane, she's going to be bringing a few home with her. Any one of them, Alexis, that touched you?
Yeah, there was two when we went to Abel's house and we sat in his dining area. I just had two and they were like kind of linked in my arms, and there was one little girl and we just kept looking at each other and smiling, and oh my goodness, those two, if I could just, oh my god, you know what, there were so many kids that, here I go. That they just get into your heart. They're just open little vessels.
Yes.
And they're just looking to you for wisdom or a smile or a touch. They're just open little vessels, and I just want to fill them up. So anyway.
Reminds you of when Jesus said, accept the kingdom, accept me as a little child. Someone who's just totally trusting and depending. And that's how we have to come to Christ, isn't it? And anyone else? There's one person that touched your life?
I think kind of two. Like Veronica, one of the women, she had come to visit earlier, and I think for all of us, it was really, she's on staff at the center, and like I said, she had been here in Canada a year and a half ago. Yes. And she prepared all our meals. She supervised that whole process. She made everything beautiful always. And in talking to her, she was explaining to me that she's studying special education down in Lusaka. She's also a tailoring graduate, and as part of her placement for her special education, she is teaching a class of, I believe it was 66 and 7-year-olds by herself. Wow. You just can't even imagine. Like, she's amazing. She just does everything and was just such a beautiful person. Yeah. And just, I guess one of the other stories that really meant a lot to me was just one of the students there, Anastasia had already mentioned, Chola is the student who would summarize all our devotions at the end, and he always was kind of the leader of each of the devotional times and led the whole thing. And as we went through the week, we were realizing that Chola didn't have a Bible. He just had Psalms and Proverbs. And he's one of the ones Beth had mentioned as well, that a lot of the leaders were saying that there's maybe a call in his life to be a pastor. And just I got to know him a little bit more, and then by the end of the last day, like I knew sometime during the last week I was like, I'm going to leave my Bible here with one of the students, but I don't know who. And each one of the girls I was going to leave it with, somebody else was like, I think I might want to leave my Bible with that girl. So I was like, I'll just leave it with Faith. And then on the last day, just a few different conversations, I was like, you know what, I'm going to leave it with Chola. So we gave it to him, and you should just see in each of the pictures he's holding it up. And as we're driving away, he's reading it, and like you could just see how much it meant to be able to leave that gift. So it just was a very humbling experience.
It's hard to believe that our amazing adventure with God is coming to an end. We've seen him work in so many ways. Our hearts are full of gratitude and appreciation for just an amazing experience. We're going home with a renewed understanding of what Faith is doing and her ministry here in Zambia, and so excited to share our stories and her ministry with the people at home. Thank you so much to everyone who helped us to get here, who prayed us through our time here, and God bless you for partnering with us in this way. We hope to be able to have good conversations with each and every one of you when we get back.
Some of you risked your life to come. Some of you are supposed to be in school, like maybe Brianna. But she said, I'm going. Some of you left your jobs. Instead of you going on holiday, you decided to come here. We thank God. And you know, this week I've been reading about Moses. Each one of us here, we are Moses in one way or another. The Lord would call us at a different time in our life. You left your homes without knowing where you were going, most of you. But because you trusted God so much, you stepped out and said, I am going. Regardless of what, I am going. Debbie, I like Debbie's story. She started shouting, I'm going, I'm going. And everybody was like, where are you going? I'm going, I'm going. You know, you stepped out, not knowing where you're going, not knowing what type of people you are coming to see apart from Faith and Veronica that you saw. We thank God for each one of you. And it's our prayer that this is the beginning of what the Lord is going to do in your lives. We might not know it now. It might take years. Jen came here 12 years ago, but she has come back. Ian and Sarah was here a year. The following year she came back. Keep on listening to the Lord. I'm sure you've learned a lot from the Lord. And when the Lord speaks to somebody, he speaks to an individual. You have to listen to what the Lord is telling you. You do it. I think that would be the best. We have a lot of needs in Zambia. But what is the Lord telling you to do? I think that would be the best. Even coming here, maybe Keith knows. The first response was, they can't come. That was my mother, Doreen. She loves me so much. Faith, they can't come. You can't handle them. But because the Lord spoke to Keith, Sherry, they said, we are going. And she was saying, no, Faith, no. Once you listen to what the Lord wants you to do, you don't have to listen to other voices because the Lord has spoken. All you need to do is, Lord, guide my steps. Lord, guide my steps. Remain faithful in the Lord. You guide your steps. I think those are my words. The Lord has spoken and He's going to guide your steps. Lelo Baibo, Ige Menina, Baibo,
good time.